Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told how to voice the radio. So today, we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at a new Poliwrath card. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a stage 2. And stage 2s nowadays are a little bit awkward. So there needs to be something going on here. And the good news is, we've got some attacks that could work. And of course, we've got ourselves a water type. And water types at the moment, they ain't too bad. Now, our translation here does come from the lovely David Hochmann over at limitlesstcg.com/translations. And we need to start off with the basics. 150 HP, I'm going to be honest, is kind of low. Empoleon's rocking 160. Poliwrath has no excuse. Retreat cost of 3 is high, but not high enough to use buff padding, which kind of sucks. So, bad start. Weakness to grass is honestly fine. There's the odd thing like Down Miser is getting teched into some decks, but other than that, you should be okay. But the good news is you are a water Pokemon. That means you're hitting weakness against Blacephalon, which is incredibly relevant. And it means you got Brooklet Hill to search out your basics, which is incredibly relevant. And it means you got the combination of Naganadel and Quagsire, not to mention Aqua Patch, which can get your energy both onto the field and onto your active. So, yeah, there are some things to like about this here. Now, for the first attack, we don't need no translation. 2 colorless energy, 50 damage. And I know that 50 damage is generally used by the card designers because, well, 60 means you get a one-hit KO on all of these evolving Pokemon. Things like Zorua and Route, tend to be my common examples, to be honest. And, you know, you don't want to get, but you do. You absolutely do. When you're putting 2 energy onto a stage 2 Pokemon, I think it's fine to be doing 60 to the active. I don't know why we're left with this. I mean, okay, Marowak wasn't 50 damage, it was flip a coin till you get a tails 50 for each heads. But come on, most of the time Marowak's going to be 50 damage, and that's for 1 energy on a stage 1. 2 energy on a stage 2, 50 damage. I can't get on board with this. And what's even worse here is that you're not even getting a one-hit KO on a Blacephalon. Let's say you had a choice band, well now you're up to 80, with weakness at 160. Oh, that's not quite enough, but that's okay. We've got Shrine of Punishment. With Shrine of Punishment, you're up to 170. When you're putting a double colorless energy on a stage 2 Pokemon, and you're still not KOing a basic GX that you're hitting for weakness, I think we get into the situation of this is a little bit annoying. And frankly, a little bit rubbish. I like to be a very enthusiastic man. I like to try and find a use for all these attacks, but I just don't think this is good. I think we can absolutely do better. I mean, to put this into context, Alolan Ninetales, now admittedly that is a GX and it gives up 2 prizes, but for a double colorless energy on a stage 1, 50 damage to any Pokemon, either the active or the bench, and that's a stage 1. Yeah, I can't really defend this first attack. But it hasn't made it into the Pointless Cards video, so it must have something going for it. And the good news is that it absolutely does. 1 water, 2 colorless energy, 90 damage, not good. If you have Poliwag or Poliwhirl on the bench, this attack does 180. And this is when we start going, oh, that's awesome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are absolutely rolling because we're essentially doing 180 here. And I know that you've got to have a Poliwag or a Poliwhirl on your bench. You need 1 basic Pokemon on your bench that can be searched out with Brooklet Hill. I mean, incidentally, you could also use Nest Ball if you were so inclined, but, I mean, come on. It's 1 basic. And to be honest, if you're going down the Poliwrath route, you should have a Poliwag and a Poliwhirl. You should have at least 2 or 3 of these combined on the bench anyway. You're not going to have more than 3. That would be a bit weird. But come on, you should have these out on the bench, so that's not going to be a problem. So I like that they've made it a bit more interesting and put the text. But essentially, we can read this as water, double colourless, 180 damage. Incidentally, even if you're not doing the extra damage, you still get a one-hit KO on Blacephalon, so ha! But even without weakness, this is good, which is weird because the first attack wasn't good even with weakness. Because the energy cost here, not a problem. There are some typings, I'm looking at you fighting, for which accelerating energy is extremely difficult. And there are some typings, like water, where it's not. So you can go Aqua Patch and double colourless energy, and you're fine. Or you can start playing around with Naganadel and Quagsire. So Naganadel attaches an energy from the discard to itself, and Quagsire moves that energy to your active Pokemon. So as long as it's a water. So Naganadel gets your water, Quagsire moves it to the active, and then you're doing 180. But the fact that you can use double colourless energy here is even better. It means that one Aqua Patch with a Quagsire will get it done. And this really means you don't even need Naganadel here. And I think that is one of the big differences between this and some of the other water Pokemon. Because any water Pokemon can use this Naganadel Quagsire combo at the moment. But the thing that makes Poliwrath special is that it doesn't need it. Now, admittedly, after attack number 4, you might be in trouble, but 4 Aqua Patch, 4 double colourless energy, 4 attacks. Like I say, when attack number 4 has been used, yeah, we might be in a little bit of trouble at that stage. But as long as you can get the first 4 out, you're golden. And you can still play Naganadel Quagsire, there's nothing to stop you doing so. I mean, it's a bit awkward, but you could even use Starmie here. That's the new Starmie that came around in Team Up that lets you, for a single colourless energy, search your deck for 3 in any combination of water and psychic energy cards and attach them to one of your bench Pokemon. And you're doing 40 damage and you're hitting psychic weakness. Cool. That's quite nice. So, the energy cost here, really not a problem. What about the damage? Well, 180 is straight away enough to get a one-hit KO on a Rayquaza. And if you had a Shrine of Punishment, you're up to 190, and there's your Buzzwole. And then, of course, Choice Band. Choice Band puts you up to 210, and that means you're getting a one-hit KO on Zoroark. It is just a little bit upsetting. The 220 is just not a relevant number. You just don't really see many GXs, at least none that are played, that have 220. So Shrine of Punishment, good. Choice Band, good. Neither of them still actually quite good. But then we can bring in Professor Kukui here. Now, I'm not suggesting you use Professor Kukui every turn, because frankly that's unrealistic. But with a Choice Band, you're up to 210. And then Shrine of Punishment, 220. And then Professor Kukui, 240. And oh look, Pikachu and Zekrom Tag Team GX is being KO'd in a single hit. And I know that you need to get your supporter card in addition to your tool and stadium. But let's not forget that these things give up free prizes. Does it matter? Like, okay, yeah, you got a bit of extra work to do, but Tapu Lele will always get your supporter if you're desperate. And actually, we've got the new Mewtwo that will, when you pop it onto the bench, grab a supporter card from your discard pile and pop it onto your deck, the top of your deck. That's pretty gosh darn good. It is worth it for that. And now, okay, it's a stage 2. Although, remember that Alolan Ninetales, the other one, not the one we talked about earlier, really has made them way more techable than they have been for years. This gets your rare candy while the Alolan Vulpix grabs your Pokemon, and then you're actually rolling here. So I don't mind the stage 2 like I used to. And look, this is a very, very, very payable energy cost for an attack that should be one-hit KOing GXs, and with a little bit of extra effort can get one-hit KOs on Tag Team GXs. And that is going to make the difference moving forward. We're already seeing in Japan and a little bit outside of Japan that these Tag Team GXs are good. So we're looking for Pokemon that can stand up to them, especially if they only give up one prize. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the answer is definitely Poliwrath. But I am going to sit here and tell you that this is a good Pokemon that you should be considering playing, and for that reason, I'm going to be giving it 3 Wassies. I like it, and I think it should be in your binder just in case you ever want to play it in the future. But I would very much like to know what you think about this. So please do let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But we have fun, I promise. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.